A great lake, expansive landscapes. There are plenty of reasons tourists travel to northern Minnesota, especially now in arguably the height of resort season. But there's one place nestled next to the Boundary Waters that's also attracting people for another reason. Kent Erdahl shows us what it's offering that's not easy to find, but leaves a big footprint on the lives of those who do.
Plenty of young Twin Cities families visit resorts.
We're on beautiful Birch Lake,
On the edge of Minnesota's Boundary Waters.
which is a wilderness paradise.
Do you want me to get ready to catch us?
Should get ready.
But it's hard to imagine a family regularly commuting 400 miles to build a resort for others.
We're at North of North Resort at the dock here.
I got you close.
Until you meet
Yep, you out.
the Learys.
All around us is mostly Superior National Forest, so it's a beautiful day in Ely, that's for sure.
Sean Leary's spinal cord injury at 18
Isn't that pretty?
It is pretty.
made visiting this beauty a challenge
Don't go so fast, girls.
for 20 years. But after a memorable trip to Yellowstone National Park in 2021, made possible by an accessible cabin,
Oh, look at Annika and Britta.
he and his wife Jill were inspired to build on the idea a lot closer to home.
Even just like when you come in the door, having a 60-inch space to turn around, you'd really need that space.
Every inch of every cabin's first floor is thought out
Kitchen was actually one of the most tricky parts.
with universal design in mind.
Yep.
To have an 88 countertop, you have to have at least 27 of pass-through here for people to get underneath, which means you have a 7-inch depth sink.
Well, Sean's perspective serves as a template.
Everything is easy to pull out.
The loft upstairs and other features
The bathroom kind of exemplifies that.
ensures the entire family
We wanted dual vanities.
It's more favored me.
isn't an afterthought.
I'm so tall that I was like, I can't do dishes like this.
It's one of many compromises the couple has made in the past 3 years. Jill, a teacher by trade, and Sean, an environmental consultant, have squeezed in a lot of new skills and family work trips around their jobs and school in Minneapolis.
I'll put our outbreakers on. It's not too hard.
Annika Leary and her little sister Britta
I know that for sure.
say the new family business isn't all work.
I really like swimming and kayaking. You would slide in on this,
And thanks to this accessible
push yourself out,
kayak launch,
and the bars are just easy to use.
they've unlocked new possibilities with their dad.
It's been a lot different because whenever we really go places, there's not a lot of places you can get in and out.
Getting to that place
You couldn't get anything through here, it's just thick.
certainly wasn't easy.
For the first year or so, we just kind of camped in there and made trails, and we're trying to figure out, okay, cabin could go here, cabin could go here.
But Sean is now excited
Isn't it something though, coming over it?
to share the resort's 400-foot boardwalk, cabins, and other wheelchair-friendly amenities
Never been in an accessible sauna, so that'll be the first for me.
with guests from across the country.
I was 8 months old, so I've grown up my whole life with a disability.
Bill Bogdan traveled from Chicago with his family,
The walleye are not in their summer
Mode yet?
and the accessible lodging wasn't the only reason
Awesome.
he was on board.
Perfecto. Excited and looking forward to an adventure today out on the water.
Accessible guided fishing trips
This is the live well.
have been a new addition this summer,
Au revoir.
thanks to David Hicks, owner of Cast Outdoor Adventures in Ely, and his newly modified pontoon.
To have an accessible boat means everything in the world. A lot of times when I go fishing, if the boat's not accessible, I have to leave my wheelchair behind and fish from a seat. And then I'm sitting in a seat for 6 to 8 hours because I can't get up and walk around.
No one's creating wheelchair accessible pontoon boats designed for fishing with your family. No one's doing that. So really what it just has to be is organizations that are willing to jump in and say, hey, let's just figure it out. You're like you're flicking paint.
David recently brought the same approach to winter Ely traditions with support from the Leary's nonprofit, Adaptive Wilderness Within Reach.
We funded 20 adaptive dog sled participants this winter in our first winter. So.
And family. We're trying to give people experiences together, like family vacations or friend getaways. We want everyone to be involved and be able to do all of the things here.
These adaptive sports and stuff, they never existed when I was a kid. I don't want to hook you, Madeline.
But the fact that Bill can now share them with his kids means even more.
I like to be an active father and be able to show my children that regardless of what your ability is or disability, There's nothing you can't do as long as you put your mind to it. So then my kids, when they have children, can go and say, you know, when I was a kid, my dad took me here, and now I'm doing this with you. And that's what life is all about.
It's just like so affirming.
It's also
Yeah.
what makes all their work and that epic commute worth it.
You make it what you want, and you get to be with the people you want.
In a place that puts all this beauty within reach.
Enjoy all that nature has to offer. North of North Resort truly represents that nature is accessible to all.
The fact that it's one of the nicest resorts and it fills all the needs across the board, it's a no-brainer.
It's also important to note that there are no requirements to rent a cabin at North of North Resort. If a cabin is available, anyone can book a stay. Their nonprofit does hold several dates for special adaptive events, and the next ones are in September when they'll host accessible wild rice harvesting. And that is something that I can't wait to hear more about because I've never even seen it.
Me either.
Yeah.
Well, I love that because so many of us take so much for granted that we can see and hear and experience, even getting on a pontoon. You think about how delightful that is on a summer day. It's just so great that they have this and that you can have your whole family. Kids, you can go up in the loft,
Right.
but whoever needs it has the space to get around. That's fabulous.
It's unbelievable, and it's different than a camp where it's a bunch of people coming, but maybe without their families.
Right.
This is truly something
Yeah,
where you can
hello,
come
she
together.
said, bring your friends. You can have like your
Yeah.
couples weekend, whatever you want.
Yeah,
Excellent story.
And on the edge of just such beautiful, beautiful landscapes. You know,
Yes.
like that's the thing. It's so rocky up there. The fact that they were right on the shoreline is
Yeah.
a really neat thing too.
Just a bald eagle chilling, a
Oh,
little in
big
front.
deal.
nice work by a photographer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
David Porter.
Not a bad assignment,
Thanks,
Kent.
Kent.